Now I'm like fucking with my hair. This is the thing you see yourself on delay. So
I'm
now,
gonna. Oh yeah, I don't like it. I'm gonna hide our video behind the Skype window. Oh, it's going. Yeah.
wait, why am I? This is so.
Tamler, where are you going? What's happening?
Nothing. I was playing with the delay. Can they not hear us?
Oh, now voice from Peez. Yeah, that was it. We'll see. They wanted to hear my dulcet tones.
Yes, now they say.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, thank you for everybody for being here. What are we going to talk about besides Gamestop?
Yeah, what are we doing? Everybody
want to start with well, everyone wants us to talk about GameStop, and I feel like I'm pretty much an expert as to everything that went down when it came to GameStop. So I don't know if anyone has any specific questions, but
can you explain short?
I think what Robinhood did was bullshit.
What Robinhood did was bullshit? You mean restricting trade? Should we to what extent are we obliged to give background here? Or can we just start talking about whatever?
Fuck it.
Your guess is as good as mine. Talk about Tenet.
I have not seen this movie.
I have not seen it. I have not seen it.
They want to know how much stock we own.
Interestingly,
0. I own 0, sadly.
I have a Robinhood account and I got locked out of it because I changed phones and the 2-factor authentication has never let me back in. I think I have $100 worth of Apple stock. Of course.
What should we invest in next? So glad you asked. I'm thinking like places like Best Buy, Radio Shack. I see a big future for those
Chuck E.
companies.
Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese. Harley.
Thai latex frogs. Yes, there is a tampon there. I will never remove it from my throat. I don't know. I've only gotten news about GameStop from Reddit. So I'm very clearly in the camp that thinks that Wall Street's evil and Reddit is awesome for fucking the rich people. Is there another story to be told?
Well, there's some poor hedge fund, manager that, might lose a little money, has to ask his dad for more money.
Yes.
This is creepy seeing the delay. How do you see the chat without seeing the delay?
You just got to move the Skype window over the video portion of the browser.
That's a good idea. That's a really good.
That's what I did. But a lot of people bought stock for $200 that is not worth $200. And so who are they going to sell it to if they do, right? It's in the end, it's some sucker who's going to be left holding the bag now.
Yeah.
So are you paid by Robinhood? Are they like a sponsor or something?
They mail me a check weekly.
Okay. Got it.
Oh, you can pop out chat even. That's even better. I do that.
What can you do? Pop out the chat?
You can pop out the chat. There's a little 3-dot menu, and then you can pop it out. And I'm going to make the video go away. It is distracting. There we go.
Yeah, live streaming is a hard thing. I don't know what's going to happen at the end there. So, right, somebody's going to sell. Everybody's going to sell. There's going to, all the Reddit people, all the Wall Street Bets people are going to have to dump. But I actually don't understand what happens at that point other than GameStop going belly up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's funny because like GameStop's business isn't affected by this one way or another, right? So like they were a mall retailer selling video games before all this, and they still are. So this is sort of like kind of, it's disconnected from any real outcomes for them. Like the people who are going to get hurt are the people who bought this stock at like way more than it's worth, and who now are going to get stuck with it, or else are going to sell it to somebody else who's going to be, it's like you don't want to be the last person off of the boat, because then you're stuck, losing a lot. I just don't see like, yeah, okay, they screwed over a hedge fund or two. I'm sure there's hedge funds on the other side of this as well. Like I just seeing this as like a populist rebellion it's a bit weird to me.
So you should at least give a promo code for Robinhood after that. Like, like Two Psychologists Four Beers.
Also, I think that the Robinhood restrictions, like they were communicated terribly. That's true. And it's because they didn't want to say that they had liquidity problems. But the thing is, like, as a clearing broker, you're required to put up a certain amount of collateral until these trades settle, which is 2 days, right? And that increases with the stock's volatility and with the extent to which your clients are all buying the same thing. So it seems like what happened is they just didn't have the money, right? So like they could have just come out and said that, but they didn't want to, I guess, because that's a bad thing to say. But it seems reasonable that if you're like, okay, we're in the like, hundreds of millions of dollars that we have to put up as deposits. We weren't planning for it. We don't have it. What else are you going to do if you're them?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it sounds like Yoel is interviewing for a business school.
Yeah. What do you have in mind? Like, you definitely have an agenda. It's just not totally clear what your agenda is here.
I don't know. I don't know what it is either. I mean, I wish I had bought it at $6 or whatever. I mean, that's fucking brilliant, and like great for those guys. But I just like the idea that this is somehow screwing over Wall Street seems outlandish to me.
No, it's just people who are like sick of the pandemic that are fucking around, right? Like just some people on Reddit that are fucking around. And if they can like make a hedge fund go out of business, I don't think anybody put like a shitload of money into this. Nobody's like, people knew what they were doing when they bought this stock, right? Like they didn't think that GameStop was going to be this massive hit phenomenon all of a sudden. So they knew what they were doing. And
one guy did. I mean, what's his name? The guy who started the whole thing. He was like really thinking it was deep fucking value.
Yeah.
Thought it was actually
deep
undervalued.
Fucking value. Right.
So just to maybe transition away, someone asked me if I'd seen the latest Fargo season. Maybe I should say that yes, and not only that, I was on Pretty Much Pop, the Partially Examined Life spinoff cast, like the Frasier of the Partially Examined Life. And
when I saw that, I wanted to big up you on being on that, because I started listening to it, and it's a really good episode.
Oh, good. Yeah, I can't listen to episodes of myself where I didn't like edit it. Yeah. But so you can hear my thoughts there, but I'll just say right now I did not really like season 4. Did either of you see it?
Nope. I didn't see it.
I started watching season 4 and it was bad, but I actually had to stop listening to your episode of Pretty Much Pop because it was revealed that there was a twist. And I was like, I might actually watch it at some point. But
there's no real twist.
No.
If you're paying attention, you know that who the little kid is.
Okay. Yeah. Did you guys get around to talking about the better seasons more?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I remember it being a good discussion for the most part. Yeah, needed some editing, but it seems like they do that.
Yeah, it was good. I liked how you immediately
How much
disagreed.
editing do you do, Yoel?
Oh.
It depends whether I'm the editor or Mickey. We go back and forth about it. I feel like I'm more picky, so I do quite a bit. Mickey's more sort of like just let it ride. He's been on editing for the past, I want to say like 3-4 months. So I think he cuts out like things that are just terrible. We like forget what we're doing or knock the mic over, but other than that, it stays in.
One thing I notice in Mickey's editing, I think, is that he allows the pauses to stay in.
Yeah. I take that shit out, man.
Yeah. Do you do that to ours, Tamler?
No.
We don't
Not
pause.
unless I think the pause should be there. If there's like comic potential in a pause, I'll leave it there or something like that. But if it's just a pause because we're thinking about what to say or because there's a bad connection, I take it out. I'm a heavy-handed editor also. Like if we talk over each other, I'll try to think who's saying the more interesting thing, and then I'll let that person have the whole thing. And,
that's why I never.
And we do a lot of stopping and starting, which I hate. I wish we wouldn't do as much. Like we'll start a sentence and then we'll get like 2/3 of the way in, and then we'll just start. We'll start a different sentence. We're like, oh yeah, this isn't going anywhere.
Somebody asked you what software you use to edit, Tamler.
Goldwave, which I really like.
Yeah.
I'm glad you interpreted that question because I don't know what a DAW is.
It's a digital audio workstation. So Yoel uses Logic. What does Mickey use?
Audacity.
No. No wonder.
Yeah.
No.
You can't fucking afford to buy software.
No wonder your podcast sucks now.
I don't know. I get it. Like once he knows how to use it, and there's overhead to learning something new. He probably doesn't feel like it.
I'm impressed that you can let it go. Like you must not be a control freak about those things.
Peasant.
No, I mean, like, yeah. Would I prefer that he didn't leave in the pauses? Sure, but I guess I just don't. I don't care as much as you guys do about delivering a quality product. Let's just
Clearly
be clear about it.
Yeah.
No, I can actually tell the difference in the editing. So because I get Yoel and Mickey's podcast earlier to use some fancy plugins, I put money on that if you didn't tell me who it was, I could tell.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you could tell. Yeah. Because I'm also like a pain in the ass about like over talk and stuff like that. Like you were saying, Tamler, like I'll try and clean that up, like separate it out or kill somebody's audio if it seems like we can just get by with what the other person is saying. And I feel like he leaves that in too. He's just like Yeah. I think that stuff is just harder in Audacity though, so I get it. I mean, it's very easy in Logic to clean up stuff like that.
Yeah. Some Goldwave too. Go to Goldwave. No, they're not paying.
Yeah, how much are they paying you?
Do you guys?
Should we go to favorite books?
Yeah, but I just really wanted to quickly ask if either of you were like 1.5 Xers on your or strip silence on your podcast listening.
Never. Like, and it's not out of like a purism or something. Like, I like. Just never think of it, even though I know that people listen to ours like that, and that's insulting, and those people don't deserve our fine product. No, they do, but like I've started to edit now on that, and it's like more fun to edit because it just goes faster. So I don't know why I don't do that with podcasts. I just like it's just not a habit yet. But once it becomes a habit, then I'll live off the interest of it.
Favorite books, if you could name only one.
Favorite? Oh, jeez.
Why Honor Matters.
And Yoel too is Why Honor Matters.
Yes, 100%.
I can't say that, even though, I mean, it's clearly the best book. So I'll say War and Peace.
Are you serious?
I mean, I actually kind of am serious about it. It sounds like the biggest douchey, pretentious, like, I don't know.
No, it's what a high schooler would think is pretentious. It's not like real pretentious.
Yeah. What would that be? To do something that nobody's ever heard.
Jest.
Yeah, exactly.
Infinite Jest is almost too much like high school or college.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys seen A Promising Young Woman?
No.
Okay. Well, I won't give anything away about it, but what this reminded me of is why is David Foster Wallace associated with like douchebags? Like it's on these lists of like women. If you see this on his bookshelf, run in the other direction. Like I'll put my cards on the table. I like David Foster Wallace, like, but I don't get it. It seems sort of non-obvious that he would be the douchey dude tell.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like why is he associated? When we covered David Foster Wallace, like I caught a whiff of that, like when we did one of his short stories, that people associate him like not quite with incels, but like
yeah,
men
but
have
sort
a hard
of like...
time in life.
Yeah. Yeah, incel adjacent, like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why. I think because he does appeal to maybe people who don't feel comfortable in their own skin and don't feel comfortable in the crowds they're around, and it seems like he was like that to some degree, who feel like they should be able to connect with people better than they do actually connect with people.
Tamler, Yoel, what's your favorite book?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer this question in a non-douchey way. And I don't even I don't even know what, it's not like I walk around knowing what my favorite book is. You know, somebody in the chat said Gravity's Rainbow.
Yeah, that's a great one. I was just typing that in.
Yeah. Have you guys ever read that?
I have not.
Yeah, I read it like twice.
Whoa.
In my 20s. Yeah.
Whoa.
I remember really liking it, and I loved V. I loved his first book, V.
Yeah, I thought V was good. I thought Crying of Lot 49 was good.
Awesome.
We've now veered deeply into pretentious. I read Gravity's Rainbow once. I found it, if I'm being honest, hard to get through. It was a summer where I was unemployed and I was doing literally nothing. And so I had a lot of time on my hands. But it was rough.
I read it in college. I was doing a semester in London, and I read it then, and I loved it. But probably I was being a pretentious piece of shit too. So you never know. Like with me and my starting at 18 or 19, I could have just been doing it as some poser thing.
Yeah. All right. So I'll give I guess the honest answer might be the book that I've read the most.
It's like the behavioral measure.
Exactly. Reveal preference. The Sun Also Rises, the Hemingway book. And I think I first read that when I was 13 or 14. It's definitely like a 13 or 14-year-old dude book in a way.
Yeah.
And I still think it holds up, although it has some sort of questionable things about the Jews and about black people and about gay people. So, but it's of its time.
Yeah, it's of its time. People didn't like Jews very much. Then you were allowed to say that.
That's right. That's right. He's just saying what we're all thinking. Come on.
Now it's just James Lindsay that bashes Jews.
Man.
But
wow.
But at the time it was a common thing to do. What have you read? Just before we leave Pynchon, has either of you read Inherent Vice?
Nope.
That's the only one after the Gravity's Rainbow that I really like. I love Inherent Vice. It's so funny. Strongly recommend it.
I'm gonna put that on the to read list. Oh, as long as we're doing recommendations, I have a couple actually, book ones. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
I
the first one
yet,
is
though,
Oh shit! Do your favorite first, and then we'll do the recommendations.
Yeah. God.
I agree that it's a hard question, but I think Cryptonomicon is up there. Neil Stephenson.
Oh yeah.
And American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Apparently I like Neil's. And Karamazov.
What's the first one? Cryptonomicon? I've
It's
never
just
heard
a
of
bunch
that.
of really weird people at Comic-Con. Cryptonomicon.
David Foster Wallace fans.
It's James Lindsay writing equations on a piece of paper at a Comic-Con. It's like a historical novel about cryptography and World War II that involves mathematicians, and it's very long. It's very good.
It's more exciting than it sounds based on that.
No, I believe it.
Yeah, it's like Alan Turing heavy. Yeah.
David, have you read his first book, Snow Crash?
Snow Crash, yeah. I read it after Cryptonomicon, but you have to read Snow Crash. It's great.
Yeah, I love that book.
Yeah.
Tamler, do you know this book?
Mm-mm. I didn't know Cryptonomicon.
This is some like nerd shit, though.
Yeah,
so
I might
just
like
a different
that.
kind of.
I can be a nerd. Yeah.
Is it pretentious?
No, it's
not really.
It's not really. It's
You could be
cyberpunk
like
fiction,
self-indulgent
kind of.
because it's. Yeah.
It's Simpsons comic book guy. Pretentious.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Superiority rather than pretension, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Red Queen Defect says Cryptonomicon sounds like something tech bros jerk off to. Yes.
Oh, somebody's pointing out I'm wrong. It's Snow Crash isn't his first book, and that we should check out Zodiac. And I haven't read that.
Man.
Oh,
And now
He
somebody's
got
recommending-
out hipstered right there.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's the thing about the internet is that they will harshly correct you if you're wrong.
Yeah.
They
Quicksilver's
want to know
book.
whether we've read Neuromancer, the William Gibson book.
Yes. It's a long time ago.
Tamler.
No. Again, another one I've never heard of. There's clearly a genre of literature that
It's called cyberpunk.
never-
Yeah.
cyberpunk literature. Yeah, I don't think I've read things in that genre.
Yeah. I think Neuromancer is great. I mean, I like William Gibson in general, but I think it's easily his best thing. It's also great because it's like, I think it's written in, I want to say like the early to mid 80s. And it's like envisioning cyberspace, and it gets everything 100% wrong. Like you could not be more wrong than Gibson was in Neuromancer. But still, it's an amazing book, and it's fun to see what people thought things would be like. Like Snow Crash is much closer to like accurate, I would say, between the two. I think Stevenson was writing later too, so that's a little bit of an unfair advantage.
I mean, when I use my VR rig, I think I'm in Snow Crash. It's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, is that good to get? And actually, I want to amend that question. So, I read something that like if you have one of those things, it's like you're in a movie theater when you watch a movie. Is it good for that? Is that true?
I've not watched a movie on it. I watched a porn once, and it was pretty immersive.
Yeah. Once.
Dicks all over. It was crazy.
Yeah. dick.
Yeah, I love it. Paul Bloom is the one who actually told me to get it. Whatever the version one. Why am I blanking on the name of the standalone one? The Oculus, the first Oculus.
Oh, is Dune good? Like, I've never read Dune, but I love Denis Villeneuve, and he's about to put out a movie at some point, maybe, of Dune. So, should I read it?
Yes.
Is it good?
It's worth reading. David?
I've never seen the David Lynch Oculus Quest. That's it.
You've never seen the David Lynch one?
I've never seen it. No, because he disavows it because he didn't have Final Cut, and he hated it,
the David Lynch one is like, it's funny and cheesy, and it has Kyle MacLachlan in it. So I think it's worth seeing. Like, you just can't expect it to be great. It's just entertaining. Sorry, go ahead.
I want to check it off.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I thought the book was good. I mean, it's a little bit like, it's got the like late 60s, early 70s vibe going on, like some weird hippie shit.
Pynchon.
But that's cool. It's just like, there's a lot of ecology in there, and like, it just feels very like 70s to me. And the other ones he wrote, I think some of them are co-written with his son. He wrote a bunch of them, and they really quickly get really weird. And I wasn't really into them, but the first one I thought was great.
I might read that.
Mm-hmm.
I just read American Tabloid by James Ellroy. I don't know if James Ellroy. I don't know if this is interesting for people, but that's great. It's about like the years leading up to the Kennedy assassination. It culminates with the Kennedy assassination, but the characters are just Kennedy and J. Edgar Hoover and Jimmy Hoffa, and it's great. It's so fun to read. So I recommend that.
Navicto asked, have you guys watched Jodorowsky's Dune? The documentary about the dude that never got made?
Yes.
Super good.
100% worth watching. It's so great. Yeah.
You haven't, Tom?
I have not. No.
Yeah,
But I'm not a Dune person.
Yeah, you want to read the book first, maybe.
I've never read the book either. It's just a good documentary.
I feel like we should transition to a different
We're just gonna be
topic.
we're gonna be
Being hijacked by
books the
like
whole hour.
sci-fi nerds and
Yeah, they're all over the
crypto
chat.
nerds. It's like
Someone
everything
asked-
we've talked about is like.
Someone asked me not too long ago, what are things that you can't talk to Tamler about on the podcast? Not as in can't, like physically, but things that we don't have overlapping interests in. And there are these big domains where Tamler will say something and I'll be like, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. And I'll say something and I have no fucking idea, which is weird given how similar we are in so many other ways.
Well, like, what's an example of that? I don't feel like I have too much of that. I guess.
Well, it's because I
some
pretend I
sports-
know what you're talking about when you say stuff.
Right. I know. How often do you do that?
It's 0.3 times per episode.
Yeah. Should we talk about the Agnes Collard question?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So Agnes Collard tweeted out a poll. I don't have it in front of me, but she said something like, why is it that when we find a stranger who really loves something that we also love, that it makes us happy? And at first I thought it was a dumb question because it seems so obvious, but it's not obvious because my only answer was because I like it when people like shit that I like. So the options, I guess, are because it signals that you might have other things in common with this person, or simply that somebody else is deriving value from the thing that you love and that makes you happy. Although that's still a little question beggy. But it's true. Like I really get pleasure out of hearing other people, even in this chat right now, saying like they love shit that I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have the feeling that it's better the more obscure the thing is. Am I
Right.
It's like,
You guys
That's
are
right.
you love ice cream
Absolutely.
too?
That's right. So I have a friend who was talking about what men on Toronto dating apps put, and she's like, I wish people would shut up about fucking tacos. I get it. You like tacos. Everybody likes tacos. It's not fucking interesting. And so like,
Yeah, there's no possible way to have an interesting conversation about tacos and why you like them. And
yeah.
Anti-Mexicans.
There was a great example of this where it was like a couple years ago, like 2.5 years ago, no, like 3 years ago now. I was in Oregon visiting a friend of one of my wife's, not one of my wives, just my wife. And so it was a friend of hers, and we were spending New Year's there in like northern Oregon in like a cabin. It was really beautiful there, but I didn't know anybody really. And then all of a sudden, the daughter's friend, we were all playing a game, and the daughter's friend revealed that she liked and watched with her dad Twin Peaks season 3. And that just made the night go from, okay, this is fun, it's pleasant, but, whatever, to this is awesome. Like I found the person, because at that time it had just come out that year. Like very few people had seen it. It was like an obsession of my daughters, but we like never found anybody else to talk to about it. And then here was this other person. Now we could talk to them about it. So it was like a beautiful way of immediately connecting with somebody that otherwise it's just, the daughter of my wife's friend's friend. Like, it's fine that she's there, but now we have a connection. And she seemed excited too, because also, to talk to two people who had seen it.
Yeah. So that just seems like a really pragmatic reason of like, now you have conversation material, right?
But it also just uplifted like my spirits. Like, it wasn't just the like utilitarian, oh, now like we can talk about something I'm more interested in. It was like, things are better. Like, life is better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's
I feel
that's
that
the
too.
phenomenon.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair.
I know what you're talking about. So there is something about.
It's not just an instrumental for better conversation, I guess.
Right.
Is the point.
But it does feel good. There is something also about being able to talk to somebody about something you love at a deeper level than normal. So like if you're really into something and you can talk about like, I don't know, the just finer details, like the I don't know, Yoel and I can talk about Mac operating systems, right? Not just that we like Macs. And then you just don't have a chance to talk to other people normally about that level of detail about something. And to find somebody else, it really reminds me of the pleasure that Oliver Sacks describes in one of his books where there's two like autistic twins who speak in prime numbers. And so all they do is like think up a larger prime number and say it, and the other one goes, right, and they get right. And it took Oliver Sacks a while to figure out what was going on, but when he figured it out, he went and got a book of primes and like pulled out like the first 8 or 9 digit prime that they'd never gotten that high. And so he says it to them, and they like look at each other and they're like that's a little bit of what it feels like when you talk to somebody. They're like, oh my God, you like that too. Maybe I'm just autistic.
What do you? I would feel like that also. There was like a risk in doing that, right? It was like, oh my God, I didn't even know you could go that high with primes. How did he do that?
Right.
It's like humiliating them. It's like big timing. It's like big timing them. You know,
bitch slapping.
How are they ever
going
going to go back? Yeah, right. So, David, I feel like what you're describing, it is just a version of the boring kind of explanation of like, we like to talk about things that we're interested in, right? And if it's something that you can't talk to most people about because most people are like, wow, the details of Mac OS are not interesting to me, then you're like, wow, rare find, that's great, right? But it's not quite, I feel like it doesn't quite capture that, like the feeling of like excitement and that you kind of know the person. So maybe it's something about like we think some things are diagnostic. Like I know things about you by knowing that you're a Twin Peaks fan. That I know that I like that kind of person.
Interesting. And so you could have a greater disappointment upon finding out that you disagree about something. So like you this Twin Peaks fan and you don't like tacos? Like, well, fuck you then.
No, I think there's an asymmetry. It's more that I think you can improve your evaluation of a person's character more if you find out they like something and it has to be sufficiently obscure. It was like, oh, okay, like this adds another layer to them. Like I didn't think that they were like this intelligent or interesting or a little bit offbeat in their tastes. But the other way, it's like, oh, well, they just didn't like it. Like, there could be any number of reasons why somebody just didn't like something. I mean, there's a few kind of things that if you didn't like it, then you probably suck as a person. But I think there is an asymmetry where it can improve your standing more than it can decrease your standing.
Yeah. It's funny because like I feel like a related thing is algorithmic predictions that say like based on you liking this, you're also likely to like these other things. And I think often people find those to be kind of like disturbing might be a little too strong, but they don't like it. Like you don't like the idea that you're so predictable. And yet, when it's from a person, you're like, oh yeah, they know who the makeup are. Therefore, they're likely to know a bunch of other shit I care about. And we don't feel like that's a problem. Like that doesn't feel threatening.
That what? If somebody, what?
That like if you're feeling that because you know one aspect of their preferences and they matched yours, you're likely to match on other things too, right? So that kind of implies predictability on your part. It's like, oh, from this like one band that you know about, like I'm going to say all these other things about you that are likely accurate.
Well,
like
that's what I mean.
Right?
Yeah, it makes your character more complex if there are certain things that like, oh, like I thought this was just some normie douchebag, but actually they have these really interesting tastes in whatever, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm curious. Now I'm interested. Keep talking. A lot of times though, it can be disappointing. Like
somebody in the chat. Sorry, go on. Sorry. I was just getting excited that somebody in the chat knows who the makeup are. See, it's happening. This is a perfect illustration.
Knows who what?
Oh, some band. It's not important.
You like David's eyeliner?
I didn't put any on today. We also had once a discussion, Tamler, about what would be deal breakers if you found out that somebody didn't like something.
Yeah.
Sort of the flip side of that.
Yeah, what is that exactly? Like,
do you remember Silicon Valley, Yoel, when, like, I forget the main guy is interviewing, or no, he's in love with this girl he's dating, and he finds out that she uses spaces instead of tabs.
Yeah.
And it's just like the most trivial thing, but it's like a deal breaker to him.
Yeah.
You know what's more of a deal breaker is if people have reasons for not liking something that are really lame. Like if somebody doesn't like sports because they're like, it's so stupid. It's like, what, you root for a team just because you grew up there? And like, that's like I'm probably like, I don't like that person, you know? And it's not like if somebody just happens not to like sports, that's fine. It's more that like if that's your reason and you think you're better than sports fans or you think it's irrational or something like that, then it's just not going to go well.
There's a big superiority in nerddom about not liking sports. Like just using the term sports ball as like the most condescending way.
Oh, God. If somebody says that and they're not being ironic, then yeah, it's like, it's probably not impossible. It's very, very unlikely that we'll be friends.
So is there like a specific kind of band or author or movie or filmmaker that if somebody's like, I don't like them, that you're like, well, that I've really learned something negative about you. I like you less.
I feel like there is, but none are coming to mind right now.
It's hard because people can have good reasons for hating Quentin Tarantino that I'll accept, but most of the time if someone says I hate Tarantino, I'm like, oh, he probably wouldn't get along very well. Like just for hating violence, which is a dumb reason.
I don't know, if somebody didn't like The Wire, like really didn't like The Wire, what would you think about them?
If they had watched the whole thing?
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, right. Like, I'm trying to imagine the circumstance under which somebody would watch all 5 seasons and then be like, well, in conclusion, dislike. I can see how it's a tough show to get into. Like, I don't think I would really hold it against somebody who just found it hard to follow or hard to get into and gave up after a few episodes.
Yeah, that's
you don't mind dumber
true.
People. I once got into an argument about whether Kima on The Wire was a bad actor or the best actor on the series. Like, this person was telling me like that Kima was the best actor, and I was like, we could like The Wire, and that's cool, but like that ended the discussion. I was like, I don't.
We can no longer talk about it. It's fine that we both like it.
What about if someone doesn't like Jews? You guys with that.
No,
That's
there's some
another
pretty
thing.
cool anti-Semites.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite Jews hate Jews.
Yeah. But like, yes, if you don't like Jews because they tend to be woke and critical race theory is going to make them like hunted by the right, like, then we're probably not going to be friends. The Sopranos was okay. You know, I happen to be in a rewatch of The Sopranos right now. And so if somebody said it was okay, it's a good question. I would think it, like, you know, there are hurdles, there are more obstacles now to our friendship, but we could probably get there. If somebody is like, I'm just so sick of these male anti-heroes, you know, it's probably an additional hurdle to the first person, but, you know, we could get there too. I've gotten a lot, you know, less misanthropic.
So I have the intuition it's easier to disqualify yourself by liking something than by disliking something. And I'm not quite sure why that should be the case. I mean, like, let's leave out like the kind of,
what?
So if somebody's like, I really like, what's that terrible fucking sitcom with like the quasi-autistic dude? It's super popular. You know what I'm talking.
Is it like
Theory?
young
Sheldon?
something?
Yeah, Sheldon. Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, what was the original show that Sheldon was on?
Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, that. Right.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
If you love that.
I feel like, yeah, somebody who like just loves Big Bang Theory. I'm like, no.
That's
in a
one
way
of
that
the
I wouldn't
weird
be if they. Sorry, go ahead.
instances of where you can't even like it ironically.
Yeah.
No. Young Sheldon, like, you see because they always show previews for it, like during football games, and it just seems like the dumbest possible thing. And yet, like, people like it. And I don't know.
It's
Like,
so
you're right.
weird.
You can't ironically like it because it's not, like, you'd have to watch it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can like ironically
there's,
like I don't know, Alf. Or, you know.
Or the Golden Girls.
Or the,
Yeah.
I like the Golden Girls.
Yeah, the Golden Girls has a huge fan base. Like, it's nothing ironic about it.
I have a question I want to
I'm
ask
not
you
in
guys. About, I guess, like about expertise and pleasure. So, do you think it's the case that the more you know about something, let's say coffee drinking, right? Do you enjoy a good cup of coffee more the more you get coffee snobbish? Because like a really good cup of coffee, you know all of the things that make up that good cup of coffee? Or is it the case that like you'll never get that original pleasure of drinking just some shitty cup of coffee and it feeling so good? Like what's the relation of pleasure to expertise?
Right. Yeah. It probably depends on the domain. But like, so I think there's certain like movies that when I saw it the first time, I'll never match that experience. But now that I'm looking at it more as a craft, there's something cool about that. There's something trying to identify the craft and trying to figure that out, and like really seeing what went into it is it is an aesthetic like pleasure in its own right, but it might not match just that initial experience, like Old Boy or something like that. First time I saw it, it was just I was so blown away by it. and not looking at anything. And then every subsequent time I'm learning new things about it. I'm appreciating it in a different way, but maybe I don't quite get the pleasure I got out of it before. I was looking at it more with an eye towards, all right, well, what is Chan-wook Park doing here? Like, that's, so yeah, I don't know.
It's interesting because you used a specific work, and
right.
I think that's different than like enjoying film, as you would say,
right.
Cinema. And in a weird way, I think like the more I learned about coffee, the less pleasure I can get out of it, because now my tastes are restricted in a way that's like wasn't true before. And I've noticed this in my talking to people about rap music. Like I get to the point where you like obscure, almost bad rap. But if you get to the point where now you no longer like Jay-Z just because you've become a pompous snob about like hip hop, then I feel like that you've lost something, like the actual wonder of like the basic good shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, so I definitely don't have that intuition about coffee. And the confound is, if you're a coffee snob, you make it more carefully. And so the coffee is going to be better and more enjoyable, right? I guess.
Yeah, but now if you come to my house and I serve you coffee, you're pissed. Like you don't enjoy it as much as
coffee. Your coffee is good.
But like your range of coffee experiences in life is now restricted. Like the pleasure has been restricted.
Maybe like, so you taste what's bad about the bad coffee. Maybe. I still like Dunkin' Donuts coffee. It's not like objectively good, but it's sort of its own thing, good. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it, but it's not like a fancy.
And like I'm a big I it's very Boston associated, so I should love it. But like I'm not a coffee snob. But then like I remember getting Dunkin' Donuts coffee and being like, this is the thing that everyone pretends that they love, even though it's shitty coffee.
It's just a lot of cream and sugar, I think.
Oh yeah, see, I don't do that. That's the thing.
It also has a specific smell. I don't know how they make it have that smell. I'm sure it's some sort of complicated chemistry.
One time, our friend Rachel told me that Tim Hortons coffee tasted like beef, and I've never been able to drink Tim Hortons again. I think it smells like beef stock. Somebody made a good point that it can't. So if you are a good cook, does that mean you start enjoying food less? I mean, I think kind of
definitely
like
not.
The large set of all foods that you can eat and enjoy gets smaller, doesn't it?
But you don't enjoy food less. You just are more choosy about what you eat. And maybe like some if you get like Domino's pizza or even like a decent pizza, but you're starting to get good at making great pizza, you will like that less, but you will appreciate your average daily intake of food more probably because you're now just better at making it good.
Yeah. But that's sort of, that seems like it's cheating because you're moving too many things at the same time, right? It's like, yeah, people who care about food eat better food, but that's not really, I mean, I guess, is it a question about like, are you better off on average, like cultivating taste in things? In which case it's fair game to say like, right? Like you're going to change your environment.
Definitely.
Yeah. Or is it just assuming like random exposure to the thing, is it better to have taste versus not, right? If you don't control your environment, say. Like I'm going to eat in 100 randomly chosen restaurants all across America. Do I want to do that as a food snob or as somebody who doesn't know much about food?
Food snob.
I don't know. I'm not feeling it there because I think as a food snob, a lot of those restaurants you're going to be like, this is real gross.
Well, so your highs are going to be higher and your lows are going to be lower. That's what I think. Yeah. But your highs are going to be a lot higher. This is like being a real film buff and cinephile is you will really appreciate movies that you never would have appreciated before. But now you've sort of seen the tricks and you've seen the bullshit. And so some of the stuff that would have passed through you, like without you really getting annoyed by it, now you'll be annoyed by. But that's a small price to pay, or at least a acceptable price to pay.
I feel like there's sort of a trajectory where the more you learn about a domain and the more distinctions and like whatever, the more discriminating you can be, the more you start enjoying certain aspects of that thing. And you can get to the point where you just become a real snob. But I think the true maturity is when you become like the ultimate film buff, you can still enjoy Caddyshack for what it is, right? Like Roger Ebert felt that way. Like he wasn't a hater of simple movies.
No, right. I think that's right. You really start to appreciate, and it's not in a hipster way where you appreciate it that it's bad. You actually appreciate the craft that went into making some of those kind of cliched or what, like people. So there's a trajectory with Spielberg. Spielberg is a great example where first people love him because it's fucking Indiana Jones and he's amazing, and Jaws. Then you start to feel like you're better than Spielberg because, you know, he's sentimental. He's, you know, some of the script, he has some corny writing in his movies, and the way things wrap up is really tidy. And then you come out after that and you just realize, oh no, this is like a master crafts person that is just amazing. Like that is the cinephile trajectory with Steven Spielberg. And I think that is what it is. So if you're at the kind of, I'm too good for certain things that are actually great, like that's a bad part of the becoming an expert way, you know, arc. But then you go back up to realizing, oh, I know how to appreciate things now that when I was in my hipster phase, I thought I was superior to.
Is the hipster phase required? I feel like we kind of have to go through that.
I kind of do too. Yeah, I do. That's why I don't get mad at like students who are in their hipster phase, you know, because like I was like, yeah, I went through this phase. You probably have to go through it too.
By the way, Yoel in graduate school is just when I think hipster, like that is the mental image that I have in my head. Like Yoel. Yoel introduced me to the concept of hipster by existing.
That's very nice. It's, you know, within academia, standards are low, I gotta say. Like, I'm so far from being an actual hipster, but compared to the rest of these fucking nerds.
You have huge hipster potential if you want to go down that road.
If I worked at it, yeah.
You already got the mustache. Make it like a handlebar mustache, and you know you're on your way.
Yeah. I'll take donations of mustache wax. I feel like this is just needs a little attention, you know.
What's wrong with a hipster face? Is there anything wrong with the hipster face?
I think he's saying you're implying that there was. You're making fun of my face.
I think that's also true, what Kristen says. People don't use the term hipster anymore, which is a shame. Like, what do you use for what a hipster is now?
I don't know. I'm the wrong person to ask about what the youths are doing.
It's one of the most hipster things to say is that people don't use the term hipster anymore. Kristen.
That is kind of it.
You've just out hipstered.
All right, I have a topic for you guys. But this is true what Brennan Harris says. You guys have gone in and out of hipster mode with Mr. Robot like 10 times. That's 100% true.
That's true.
That's just like absolutely right. Like the truest thing that has been said in this live stream. All right, I have a topic for you. Wait, did I just forget it? I did, but it was a good one.
The topic is, what is Tamler drinking?
Somebody in the chat wants to know whether I drink oat milk. No, oat milk is gross.
It's not that gross.
Okay, I remember my top.
Oh, good, go.
I'm just going to keep it in my head if you want to keep talking.
No, I don't think the oat milk digression is actually that interesting. Why don't we do your thing?
All right. So I've noticed with people younger generation than us that there is like a kind of humor right now. And it's the first time in my life that I have felt this way. Like that is a little bit inaccessible, or at least I can only get it and identify it. It's like 6 levels of irony in tweets and like how they act. It's like it's not the normal level of sarcasm or irony. It's like they've taken it to a new, I don't know, place. And I'm wondering if you guys think that that's true too.
The Eric Andre show?
Can we get an example?
What's that?
Is like the Eric Andre show, like that kind of humor. It's like absurdist to the like 2 levels post-irony.
It's absurdist. There's an absurdist. Yeah. It's like absurdist, 2 layers post-irony. You're not just pretending to be the thing you're making fun of. You're not also just making fun of them straightforwardly you're doing something else. You're being like somebody who would make fun of the thing that you don't like in a way that you think is lame or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, like, and there's an absurdist element to it too.
Tim and Eric, the awesome show. Do you know, like, I feel like that was the birth of this kind of complete off the rails absurdity.
Yeah. But I want in, is my point. Like I want like an entryway because I think it's funny. Like I when I get it, I think it's really funny. And but like I can't seem to do it. I wonder if we just can't do it like at this stage, like because people have different expectations for us. So maybe I just can't do it. But I could appreciate it.
You want to be the performer of that level of absurdity, not just an enjoyer of it.
I want to be able to every once in a while. I don't want to like try to be like a 20-year-old, you know. But I want to every once in a while be able to show like I can hang with you people.
I feel like I still didn't even understand what you're talking about. So you're way ahead of me, I suppose.
But you know who Eric Andre is, and to the Tim and Eric.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, I've seen some episodes of Tim and Eric and the Eric Andre show. Yeah.
So
is it just that?
I mean, those are the ones I can think of in the category that I think Tamler is getting to.
Huh. I mean, like that has like strong Monty Python vibes to me. It's just like weird shit happens, and then sometimes they, the Eric Andre show, they also have a guest reacting to the weird shit, right? But that doesn't. I mean, I like it. I'm not like saying it's bad. I thought it was really funny, but it didn't seem to me to be like anything super new or different.
Just like weird though.
Yeah.
Just like very weird for the
I was
sake
on
of
like
weird.
a group me with one of my classes and I could see them doing that to each other. And then, some of the Chapo adjacent people sometimes do it in a way. Yeah. I'm just trying to join a hipster club. I don't know. That's the thing I'm trying to isolate. Like, that's the topic. Exactly. Zoomer humor. Yeah. Like, I'm not on TikTok. So every once in a while I'll see something on it, but maybe that's what I need to do. It's just immerse. It would be good for me right now to just immerse myself in TikTok. Like I don't have enough fucking things distracting me, but yeah.
You don't think you're on TikTok, but maybe your daughter is actually filming some of your behavior and posting it. Maybe you're a superstar on TikTok.
Is your daughter like active on social media?
She's always on TikTok, but she doesn't post. She's a lurker. She's big into anime now. And so she actually goes on social media to like learn all about and manga. Like, I'm losing her to the east.
You're losing me to these too.
Somebody pointed out that Adult Swim had a lot to do with this. Like those early aughts Adult Swim cartoons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like Space Ghost.
Yeah. And Aqua Teen, Hunger Force.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
to
awesome.
me, those seem weird in exactly the same way. I mean, maybe I'm missing some nuance here or something due to being too old.
Well, it's just a the thing I'm talking about is very generational. Like, and I feel like some of those Adult Swim people were closer to our age. But like the thing I'm talking about, like our age people don't do it.
Yeah. I think I need more exposure to this. Can you send me some
sarcastic role play where they are not serious about anything and are just pretending to be the thing you're making fun of? Yeah, that's part of it. But then, like, sometimes it's like a level over that, where then they're like making fun of that thing that you're pretending to make fun of. But whatever.
It's super weird to look back at 80s sitcoms and see how straightforward the humor was. It's like bad. It's painful and bad now. Like.
But I also feel like 10 years ago, like the humor of the young people was also like our humor.
Because we were younger.
Well, partly, but also like even like, you know, we were still at times, well, at least I was like, what are our age differences? Is it just like 5 years down the line?
I'm 41.
I'm 45. You're good.
How you're trying to decide how many years you wanted to take off your actual age.
I'm trying to do the divided by 2 plus 7 formula.
And I, if you've listened to a recent episode, have just turned 50. Swiss Army man. See, I don't even know this stuff. I just see it on Twitter. Yeah. All right. Anything else? What else should we talk about?
I just want to point out that my undergrads are super into Friends. So I feel like this somewhat cuts against they have a whole different style of humor thesis. No,
they're weirdly obsessed with Friends. Like I had a slide on that, like explaining an argument about how teenagers are weirdly obsessed with Friends. I don't know if that's still true. That was true like 5 years ago. Is it still true?
Yeah, as far as I know. I mean, the last time I taught in person was a year ago or something, but you could walk around campus and see them watching Friends on their laptops between classes.
It's so weird. My daughter, like she felt like she had to watch Friends because like that's all her friends talked about, and then she got like completely addicted to it, and has probably watched all the seasons. And The Office too. The Office is another one.
Yeah,
like that,
they love The Office.
Which is very like traditional humor. They love that, and they love it unironically too.
Yeah. I don't think they like Friends ironically. Somebody in the chat was suggesting that.
No, not at all.
But there is a level of irony where they're enjoying it unironically, and it's ironic that they're enjoying it unironically. Like I feel like it's different than the first run of Friends. I can't describe it.
They get that you could make fun of watching Friends. But they still really enjoy it, and they're not like trying to pretend otherwise.
There's also like I think for us, we can remember what nostalgia made cool when we were in high school. So like I remember being junior high when like the 50s shit was all the rage. Like people were like all commercials had 50s doo-wop songs and stuff. And now the 90s is just the shit for like tweens and high schoolers.
Yeah.
And it's really weird to see the aesthetic of the 90s coming back.
Did people watch 50s sitcoms?
Yeah.
Like, I guess there was Nick at Night, right?
Yeah.
And there was also The Honeymooners was on a lot, and
To the Moon.
Straight to the Moon.
Casual life.
Those
beating.
were the days. Yeah. Now there'd probably be some woke person complaining about like people
You can't even
laughing
beat
at
your wife.
like
It's terrible.
David, you were asking us something that I feel like I cut you off for.
I don't remember.
WandaVision seems like something that I would hate with every part of like my being. Like I would just vibrate hatred towards it.
What is this? Can you explain what this is?
It's some like MCU TV show that's supposed to be
It's about vision.
like kind of dreamy. So here's actually this is a great crossover. This is an example of somebody somebody tweeted something like WandaVision is MCU but on acid. And they were like making fun of somebody who would say something like that.
What was that MCU TV show that was super trippy in the 60s?
Batman?
No, sorry. It's a modern show that takes place in kind of 60s. You'd be hard pressed to know it was Marvel. God damn it. What is it? But yeah.
We just talked about the whole MCU and how dumb it is. It's even worse than dumb. Like it's kind of, because it's not fully dumb. It's just utterly just paint by numbers. And like it can be good paint by numbers sometimes, but it's just devouring everything.
How many movies have you seen? Of the MCU?
I mean, I've seen a bunch. Like I kind of stopped after a while when it was clear that people were going to love the movie that even was halfway competent.
Legion. Thank you, Raymond Edison. Sorry. Legion is the TV show.
That was MCU?
Yeah.
The Noah Hawley?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting that he did that.
Yeah. I read one of his books, by the way. Wasn't that good? I was expecting more.
Are you MCU fans? Like there are people in in my honors college where we do the great books where they're like, it's our Homer. Like this is our new mythology.
Oh God.
No.
Like people I respect. So
I barely know about this. I mean, I've seen some movies. But I saw the first Avengers. I saw Deadpool. I saw both Deadpools actually. But like
Deadpool was funny.
That was funny, right?
Yeah.
What's the one where they're in space and Chris Pratt is in it?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that was good. I think I watched the sequel to that one too, and it was okay.
It's a very rare time where I know more about MCU than someone.
But okay, so can you explain it to me? What is it?
Well, it's just a universe of all these Marvel movies that are connected. Were you a comic book fan?
Yeah, but not Marvel comics, really.
It's hard because it's so many different kinds of movies, and some are good and some are really bad. Like, it's just source material to make a bunch of different kinds of movies. And then the connective tissue of the big Avengers movies that I think devalues the better ones. Like Deadpool's funny and good. Ant-Man's kind of funny. And
oh yeah, I saw that one. That was good.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think Deadpool is not technically MCU though. Is that right?
There's a whole thing. So, Sony had the rights.
Please,
so like,
I've never mind.
In the beginning, there was, Sony had the rights to some of the characters. So Spider-Man, for a while, wasn't part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but was a Marvel character. Somebody pointed out the DC Cinematic Universe is garbage. I mean, it's just the worst thing. Like the new Wonder Woman, I'd rather jerk off with razor blades in my hand. So bad.
Obviously.
Yeah, I have not seen the new Wonder Woman. I thought that first one was fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
But that was one where I know it's not MCU, but that was really good, and it kind of sucked though. Like, it was fine, but it was like they're all competent. They have like a baseline competence. The thing I hate is that they take these directors and actors in their prime, and like this is what they do instead of like interesting stuff.
Yeah. What famous director got in trouble for saying that these movies weren't?
Scorsese.
Yeah, right.
Like
so I feel like you're just echoing his line here.
Totally. He was totally right. 100% right.
Yeah.
They're not cinema. Sorry. And everyone's like gets really mad at him about that. He's like this 75-year-old like all-time great director. Like he can say whatever the fuck he wants about the MCU.
But he can also be wrong.
He can be wrong, but like stop being mad about it. Like, what did you expect Martin Scorsese to think about the MCU?
Right.
The thing about all of these fucking superhero movies nowadays is that they all end in explosions and fucking these action sequences that are tiring. Like I love Batman animated series because it was like a detective show kind of, you know. You don't have to save the world at a cosmic level.
Right. That's what I was going to say about. Yeah.
Awful.
Yep. So like I thought Wonder Woman was good up until the last like 20 minutes where it's just like CG shit exploding for 20 minutes. And it's just dumb.
Who likes that stuff? Like, I have never talked to anybody who, even the people who like the MCU, they're like, yeah, but the CGI thing they always do in the last 25 minutes is obviously bad. So, like, who is that for? Is that for, like, China? Or is that for, like 15-year-olds?
China.
It's so hard to know. It's like who watches The Big Bang Theory? It was like the most popular show on TV. They were making millions. I've never met one person who was like, that shit is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. It's like, you know, the lady who said she couldn't believe Nixon won. Nobody she knew voted for him. Like,
right.
We're in our bubble, you know?
Leo.
Oh, Black Panther.
Logan was great.
Yeah, I thought that was okay. Actually, like, that one was a little slow moving for me. I've been complaining about the, like,
that's why I
big CG blow-ups.
Yeah. You like just Black Panther because you're woke.
I didn't see Black Panther.
Oh, well.
Because I felt like I would not like it, and then, I would get canceled.
Oh, Jake in the chat is saying he watched The Thing last year, and I had the exact same experience. I watched it last year, and I was like, wow, these effects are awesome. But it obviously predates CG, right? It's all practical.
Well,
practical effects are amazing.
The Mandalorian's choice to have Baby Yoda be an actual puppet was brilliant, and it was Werner Herzog who told them that they were cowards if they made him CG.
No, really?
Nice.
You're cowards if you make the CG. Wait, that's my Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Close.
It was Werner Herzog being Arnold Schwarzenegger. I had a similar experience. I mean, I love The Thing, Yoel, but Starship Troopers also has great practical effects. And I was why did we go away from this? Like, this is so cool. And the other stuff is like you're playing a video game. Like, that's not what you want to see. You can suspend your disbelief in the right way for practical effects.
Yeah.
It's now because it's cheaper. It used to be more expensive, like Terminator 2, right? Like $1 gajillion to make a fucking morphing metal face. And now it's just actually cheaper.
Yeah, cheaper and easier. Yeah. I have a friend who actually still works for Tippett Studios, who did the effects for Starship Troopers. And I visited him at work, and they have like some of those models. Like they have like a giant bug. It's so cool.
That's just the best. I guess, what was the movie Road Warrior. I'm blanking on the name. The Road Warrior movie with Charlize Theron.
The new one. Yeah, the new Mad Max movie.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, that's right.
That was also a lot of good practical effects and just like stunt people, and that's the stuff that they would just make computers do. But that was great.
Yeah.
I hate the de-aging thing too. It's just uncanny.
Oh. Yeah, no, I mean, if it worked really well, then great. But it just like you said, it's not quite there, so it just looks weird.
Yeah. What about in The Irishman?
I never watched it. Yes,
I did.
Scorsese said some shit about the MCU, and I was like, "Fuck this guy."
You're like, "Fuck that guy." I didn't find it super distracting there. I didn't love it, but it was less. Maybe they just did a better job of it. It was less distracting to me there than other places that I've seen it.
Yeah, and also it was like, well, this is the price you pay for having Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, and this is how.
That's right. That's right.
So,
but it's sad to me because look at the Godfather trilogy and the use of De Niro as a young Brando was an amazing part of that film. And now to think that they would have just de-aged Brando, we might miss out on a great performance.
Well, but I don't think I think that's different. Like that was its own self-contained story, whereas this was, like most of it was him being at these different ages, and I think it would have been hard to do that with The Irishman, just the way it was. Like you wanted to really believe it's the same character. You didn't see Marlon Brando and like just kind of exchange. I don't know. I thought it worked. I thought it was worth the price with The Irishman. And I just love The Irishman. Did you like it, Yoel?
Yeah, I liked it. It was about 20 minutes too long for me. Maybe because I saw it in the theater, I was just uncomfortable. Like I was ready to go.
Yeah, I did not see it in the theater, so we took a break and.
Yeah, see, if I had been watching it at home and had been able to pause and go to the bathroom, it might have been a different story.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it, and I love mob movies. I love those actors. I love Scorsese, so I'm obviously gonna like it.
It's a great rewatch too. Like in the comfort of your own home at your own pace, it's a really good rewatch. And the music is beautiful. It's just a beautiful movie. And yes, a total it's a sequel to Goodfellas and a spiritual sequel to Goodfellas. It's sort of like, okay, what happens if the Goodfellas people get older? Like what, where are they now? And it's I thought it was really, really good. Kind of underrated, even though people liked it.
Should we end with some recommendations?
Yeah, recommendations. What are we recommending?
I really liked. I really liked. I May Destroy You, the Prime show.
Oh,
is it Prime? No, it's HBO.
Yeah, Mickey recommended that as well.
Yeah, that was really good.
I have not seen.
What's it about?
It's about a writer in London, kind of young, unstable African-American or African writer. She's definitely not African-American because she's British.
You could just say black.
And I don't know, it's and she has, it starts with her in Italy with her boyfriend, but now she has to turn in a draft for this book, but then it's clear that at a certain point she was sexually assaulted, and the kind of one through line is her trying to find out what happened that night because she was on a lot of drugs. She probably got roofied. So yeah, it's almost like you just trust going into it that your attention is going to be held really well. And it's just great performances. It's really funny. It's really moving. And there's a great central friendship between her and her best friend. It's very good. It's not the greatest show ever, but it's really good. Yeah. Like I probably liked it better than Queen's Gambit.
Have you guys watched Raised by Wolves on HBO?
I watched the first episode.
Did you like it?
And I was like, no.
It's okay. It's decent. Yeah, I watched I would say it gets better. It doesn't end as well, but like the middle bits I think are good sci-fi, and the visuals are really good. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but there's an Italian drama that I watched. There's 2 seasons of it. It's called My Brilliant Friend, and it's just sort of coming of age about these 2 young Italian girls. It's really good. Super, super touching.
There's one more I want to make. One of my favorite shows from last year, 000. Fucking kicks ass.
I've never heard of
this.
this.
Like a drug show. It kicks ass. It is awesome. That's my strong recommendation to people.
Okay.
What about you, Yoel?
Somebody's asking me about my favorite Charlie Kaufman movie adaptation, I think. But that's not the recommendation, although I do recommend. Shows, have you guys seen The Expanse? David? You would like this. I mean, it's a sci-fi.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. I keep meaning to watch it. Because there's a lot of seasons now,
it definitely.
Right?
Yeah, they're on season 5 now. I've watched it through the end of season 4. I think it's really good. It's like, I was skeptical because I was like, it's on like Amazon streaming and it seems like they're not going to be able to do it well. Like, are they going to have the money to make this look decent? And it's like this space opera thing, but like, it's good. It's very like, it really like pulls you in. And it's like, they do the cliffhangers really well, such that you're always wanting to watch the next episode, but not in a way that's annoying. The character's really interesting. They do some super interesting stuff with casting because it's the future, and they, these people have like divisions between different planets and shit, but like evidently race doesn't matter at all. So they'll just like cast these people who otherwise you'd be all like, we're going to cast the Samoan lady without making a like big point of it. And it's like, no, she's just on the show, so I think that's kind of cool.
Season 3 of Discovery is the most guilty of shoving identity into your face in a way that's just jarring for Star Trek, where it's like not supposed to matter. They like put out press releases about having like the first non-binary character on. It's like, just give me a show. Like, I don't care if they're not. Whatever.
Right.
Uh-oh. Dave's making a Substack play right here.
So some people are saying season 5 is really good, which I'm excited about. So I'm going to start that tomorrow, I think. So it's like there's some suspension of disbelief involved in that, because it's like, so say like these people are from Mars and one person is from Mars and talks like a Black American dude, and the Samoan lady has a New Zealand accent because that's where she grew up. This other guy's from Mars and has a Texan accent. And I think for the most part, they told them just roll with your natural accent. And you could be like, well, shouldn't the Martians all kind of talk like Martians? But they don't. But it's fine in the end. It's just like you just end up going with it.
It's consistent. Like, that's all you want from a movie. It's like they're talking like how they talk. They're not going to try to do some Martian accent. And it's like, okay, I get it. Like, maybe you're hearing it through, like, I think that's a really smart thing. Like, movies that do that with other languages too. Like, they'll just have people talk and like, Chernobyl did this, right? It just had, they were all Russians, but like some people would be like Cockney, some people would be like kind of, or upper class. It was just like whatever. Like, we're just like, we're Russians and we're not going to try to pretend that that this is in any way matches what a Russian person would sound like. They don't do Russian accents.
Right. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying one of my favorite tactics is in Hunt for Red October, where all of the characters start off speaking Russian on the Russian sub, and then just at some point they all transition to English with just regular English. You don't even notice it, but it sets the stage that they're Russian and they're speaking Russian. But they're not going to do it the whole time, right? So, like, Sean Connery speaks Russian for like the first 5 minutes. And then he's just Sean Connery.
And it's not supposed to be that he was speaking Russian then, but now he's speaking in English?
No. It's like a smooth transition from them speaking to each other in Russian to all of a sudden switching to English. This is a bold move.
Yeah.
The death of Stalin is another example. So what's that guy's name? Armando Iannucci, who did Veep, which is, I think, my favorite comedy ever. I kind of liked it, but I think my expectations were too high. All right. Should we? Anything else?
I think, did everybody get to recommend something?
I think so.
I love Caché, the movie Caché.
I recommend Scott Barry Kaufman's TikTok account. Is that a fair recommendation?
If the dancing posted that on Twitter, it would be like some capital letters, some lowercase letters,
All right, guys. Well, thanks for having me on. This is great.
Thanks for being.
Good to have you.
Thanks,
everybody. We appreciate it.
This is Yoel Inbar.
Oh, yeah. Why don't we do that?
Co-host of Two Psychologists, Four Beers.
New PR person for Robinhood and the hedge fund community.
Old GME, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thanks, guys. Okay, bye.
Bye.